In the beginning, God. Even people that don't know anything about the Bible, that aren't Christian, that aren't spiritual, they understand and know, or they at least know of this information. They know of this statement. They know that most of them know it's the very first words of the Bible. In the beginning, God. And most of us, though we know these words, I don't think we ever really apply them to our lives in any practical fashion. We just think they're the first words of the Bible and we're looking for doctrine and things like that. But I think there's a very powerful message within these first words of the Old Testament, the Christian scriptures as they are. And I think there's a powerful lesson here. And I hope to bring that lesson forward to you today as we think about what to do in our life, as we think about what to do in our relationships, as we think about what to do even in our personal lives. If we were to adopt the mantra or adopt the mindset, even more so, the mindset of in the beginning, God. Just bring it home to you, first of all. Before you do something, before you say something about yourself or to yourself, before you begin to do any activity, what if you asked in the beginning, before you do this activity, right at the start of this activity, what if you asked, how would the divine think of this? Is this serving the divine? What if before you thought anything in the beginning, you checked in with the divine? How about before you did anything or said anything by yourself, to yourself, with yourself, you checked in and said, in the beginning, how would the divine think of this? What would the divine think of this? Whatever your concept is of the divine, whether it's Jesus and God, Charlton Heston, Moses, whether it is Father, Mother, whether it is whatever deity that you look to, what if you said before you do anything in your personal life, in your personal thought life, in your personal actual actions of and relating just to yourself, what if you in the beginning said, how would the divine think of this, look on this, and how does it affect the divine? And then what if you branched it out one step further to your interpersonal relationships? And you said, before you said something, and really, if you want to get truly spiritual, before you even as you catch yourself thinking something in relating to another person, a person asks you a question. And instead of saying, jumping to the worst possible meaning of that question, is that what the divine would do? Or would the divine look for the best possible meaning of that question and try to keep a high vibration, a positive vibration, until you're sure that a high vibration was not meant? What would Jeffrey do? Is that what WWJD means? How many times do we start an argument, start a disagreement, create disharmony, create low vibrations, create bass vibrations by assuming or thinking that when a person asks us a question, they're thinking that you're assuming or thinking, or we're assuming or thinking the very worst possible motivation behind that question? How many times have we created a disagreement by a false read of what we thought somebody meant? And what would really be the harm if when someone says something to you or asks you something, instead of thinking, oh, they mean this, if you thought, oh, well, surely they must mean that. And what if you're wrong and they really did mean to tick you off? What is harmed if you assume the best and find out that they meant the worst? Nothing's lost. In fact, there's a lot gained. But what is lost if you assume they meant the worst and find out that they meant the best, or that it was just a rather benign question? How much energy, vibration, law of attraction, law of one, we just did a great show on the law of vibration, Sandra and I. How much energy, vibration, intention is wasted when we presume that we know what people mean or what they're asking? How about if we in the beginning Godded? Didn't we read that love hopes all things, believes all things, protects all things, looks for the best in all things? What if in the beginning, at the beginning of a conversation, at the beginning of a question, at the beginning of an interaction, we take a divine point of view and say, I know I could think that this person's trying to get me, but what if they're not? What could they possibly be meaning by this? Or could it just be a throwaway question or a throwaway phrase that was unintentionally offensive to me? And this goes back to the take no offense video that we did not too long ago. So, in the beginning, God with yourself, in the beginning, God with others, I think that would change some lives. And if God is love, and if God is patient, and God is kind, if God is love, listen to this, folks. If God is love, and we know that God is love, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. In the beginning, God, if God is love, if I could type God, love is patient. I want the verse in Corinthians. Love is patient. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. And now let me go to Bible Hub, get you where we need to go. Bible Hub, 1 Corinthians 14, 3. If God is love, and if we want to be in the beginning, be like God, then at the beginning of our interactions with ourselves, at the beginning of our interactions with others, if we want to, in the beginning, God, then we would, come on, man, where is it? Love is patient, love is kind. Oh my. All of a sudden I can't find it. Anyway, patient, kind, long-suffering. You know the verse. Is it 12? I've actually drawn a blank on the Bible. How often does that happen? How often does that happen? How often does that happen? But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I don't believe that I can't find this. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is kind. 1 Corinthians 13, my bad. Love is patient, love is kind. And we'll read it from the NIV. We don't usually read from the NIV. If God is love, and you want to put God first in the beginning, God, then you will be patient. You will be kind. You will not envy. You will not boast. You will not be proud. You will not dishonor others. You won't be self-seeking. You won't be easily angered. You won't keep a record of wrongs. You won't delight in evil. You will rejoice in truth. You will always protect, always trust, always hope, and always persevere. And you will never fail. In the beginning, God is love. What would happen if we acted like that with other people? I think it would make a much better world. We make judgment based on our understandings. That is our greatest failure, says Global Witness Derek Bros. And if you didn't see the show yet, the broadcast yet that we did last night, you are missing out. Powerful. The greatest heretic in history was the name of the show. Please go and watch it. In the beginning, God is love. Are you acting in love at the beginning of every interaction with yourself and every interaction with others? If you aren't, today's the day for you to change, grow, and get better. I should say today's the day for all of us to change and grow and get better. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge. Ask questions, question answers. Unindoctrinate yourself, create yourself, build the life you'll love. It is an inside job. We are the last generation of real humans, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put God in the beginning and let's get busy.